the next step in our evolution. More powerful, more beautiful. I think I should call him Adam.
Nothing but wit to save the world. Save the world.
Adam.
Wit saves the world.
Assemble.
Do we decide, do we talk before we crack, or do we crack right at the top? We're back. Does someone listening to this, whatever this is, know what episode it is?
It'll be the quotation Sonic the Hedgehog in quotations episode. So yeah, we're back. Sonic the Hedgehog is the movie we're doing here today.
Back better than ever. Man, recorded that first pod, gave it the listen back. We're good at this.
We're good at this. I mean, like, we've been talking about doing this for so long.
All it took was a few beers and a worldwide plague.
Let's just jump right into this, all right? This came out on Valentine's Day. This is a couple's romantic movie.
This did have theatrical release, right?
It did. It did. The budget for this was roughly somewhere between $80 and $95 million.
Is that a, obviously this movie is pretty widely remembered for this incredible facelift they had to do on Sonic the Hedgehog. Is that budget pre all these changes?
I'm assuming this is post. Okay. This is like current numbers from what I found online, and some of them vary. So the higher end of the spectrum of that 95 may be the post, and it originally started around 80.
Right. Yeah.
A few $1 million to fix our boy Sonic after what they did to him.
Well, I mean, you believe this to be some type of conspiracy theory here, right? Some sort of hoax.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put on our tinfoil hats, obviously.
Yeah, X-Files music clip right now.
This is our X-Files moment of the podcast.
Our very popular segment.
Yeah, the fans have been asking for it to come back. There was a huge blowback from the way Sonic looked. They put out this trailer, I think, kind of early 2019. It was around the same time the Detective Pikachu movie trailer came out, and a lot of people compared it. Our boy Sonic, they tried to take a realistic approach to it, and in my opinion, he kind of just looks like that when the boy turns into a monkey in the movie Jumanji, which kind of, I guess, worked in that movie, but that movie also came out.
That weird nose, nightmarish picture of the teeth are so real. The eyes are far apart, and you're right, that nose looks like that kid from Jumanji.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
And it's bad to just look at it, but when you see what he looks like now, it is insane how different it is.
It looks way better now. I like it more now. I get that it's like a little more cartoony. He looks cartoony in the real world for sure, but
right.
I still like it better than the nightmare monster.
Yeah, and obviously they were trying to go for, for that realistic approach, but I think there was rumors that there were some internal discussions that some of the people that usually work on Sonic in Japan didn't really like the design. The company decided to put out the trailer for it anyway, so it was kind of like a told you so moment. But I mean, the movie did incredible. So with that, right at somewhere but at the bottom end of $100 million, it grossed 306, right? Okay. Making it the highest grossing video game movie in the U.S. and Canada, which actually beat Detective Pikachu. Now, it's not the highest of all time, which is Warcraft, which is a whole other bad can of worms that China loved.
So Sonic's still making some money.
And that's where my conspiracy comes in. Is the idea of this being some sort of viral marketing plan. Would the movie have done as well had audiences not seen that drastic change? It was like, well, they put in this, they listened to us, this is a company that cares, they put this movie out, we should go see it. They changed it for us, the consumer. We as the consumer should support them for that.
So do you think that means that they realized before this that this movie was such garbage that it needed
apparently
I mean,
this movie being garbage is a completely different can of worms. But for sure, I think just that aspect of the character model. I think that's my only conspiracy. The plot of the movie and everything else I can't speak to. Not at this time.
You put it out there, you test the waters, and
just check it out.
Second highest grossing video game whatever of all time. Good for you, Sonic.
We've also got actors such as Jim Carrey.
How do you feel about Jim Carrey as Robotnik?
Oh man, so personally, I mean, like, obviously he's Jim Carrey, right? He's given a comical role to kind of be himself. There's a lot of dancing, a lot of physical comedy, the facial expressions. There's a lot of, like, him talking over people and doing hand signs as he's doing it, you know, classic Jim Carrey, basically.
It is just fun to see Jim Carrey be Jim Carrey.
I will say, I didn't necessarily, I mean, I know he's a villain, right? This is like a kid's video game movie. He just seemed too mean. I don't know. It's something I feel like I keep going back to in my mind. I think his performance was fine. I just don't know. I didn't like the character of Eggman.
They didn't give him too many punchlines, or at least not many that landed for me.
James Marsden, obviously from Teddy is Westworld, and he was in X-Men as our boy Cyclops.
I am always happy to see Teddy out and about, of course.
Oh, for sure.
Get Teddy out of the park.
And then Ben Schwartz, who, you know, Parks and Rec, they just had that Parks and Rec reunion quarantine edition. I don't know if you heard anything about that.
I've heard about it, haven't seen it. I'm interested.
Yeah, and so, you know, he's done a lot of voice acting. He's got that new Netflix special with Thomas Middleditch, the Middleditch and Schwartz, the kind of improv thing. It seems to be
that improv thing. Yeah. I don't want to. If I open this up now, it's gonna be a whole thing.
I know. So let's try to.
Ben Schwartz's Sonic. We're putting a pin on that and circling back.
It's definitely gonna come up again. The director is a guy named Jeff Fowler. He did a short film that won some awards, but other than that, he's not. That's his only movie.
Directorial debut.
Yeah.
Weird when a property that at least feels as big to me as Sonic is to be put in the hands of someone who has effectively never done this before.
Right. Let's, I guess, jump into the review here and see how our boy Jeff Fowler did with all of this Sonic responsibility.
Sega.
Yeah. Sega. And that was the thing. It wasn't the same, like, Sega video game noise, right? It was like a new, like, Marvel Cinematic Universe when they went from comic book logo to, like, we've made enough movies, we can now use, like, the footage from the movies, right? Right. Feels like they jumped to that stage too soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the visuals, though, and I mean, I do like the visuals of at least this first part of the movie. I like seeing Sonic in the video game world and doing what
the loop-de-loops,
doing less road trip, more hanging out.
It's something we can say early on about the movie. It's the fan service.
Yeah, but a lot of it is that, like, it's that kind of obnoxious level of fan service where they're kind of waving it in your face, like we know,
like they're pandering a bit.
Yeah, we're not going to actually do anything with it.
Yeah,
like there's that part in Robotnik's lab where you see like Botniks written on a piece of paper,
which is probably CGI'd in there way post. You know.
We're not going to do anything with this. We're just going to... We know you like the word, so let's...
Hey, we haven't had a weird pandering moment for video game fans that are probably hating this movie 15 minutes into the movie. Maybe we should CGI some stuff in there. It's been a little bit too long.
CGI in some text on a white piece of... That's your saving grace.
Also, at this point, we're going to have a ton of spoilers. I guess we'll have that on-screen spoiler alert thing pop up about right now.
Adam, what is Sonic up to here? Help me out.
So, it starts out, we've got like a kid Sonic, and he's kind of running around. I guess in the very beginning, we get a very Zach Morris Saved by the Bell. I bet you're wondering how I got here moments of Sonic running through a city, explosions behind him. Anytime something were to happen to him, we know he's going to be at the end of the movie. I guess you don't go into a Sonic the Hedgehog movie and expecting people to die, unless you're the owl, because you die in the first 2 minutes of the movie. We've got...
What is this movie rated again? They should have upped the ante on this thing.
Yeah, it's... I imagine it's just PG... PG. You know,
like to see a little bit more bloodshed. You know,
yeah.
Like in the games, aren't there like little animals in the machines?
Yeah.
I want to see some like moral consequences here.
Yeah.
Sonic's fighting Robotnik, crushes a bot, and holy shit, there's a little baby bird.
There's a little bunny.
We didn't really talk about that too much. My Sonic history is pretty limited. I've got some memories of playing, you know, first one on Sega as a kid.
Classic.
Classic. And then I got into Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube.
My favorite Sonic game, easily.
So that's all I've got. I did not know Longclaw. I did not recognize her.
I'm not super familiar with Longclaw. I did know, like, when he gets chased by ninjas at the beginning of the movie. Those are obviously echidna. They don't really make any point to let you know that. And they kill his mentor. He gets a bag of rings. And Longclaw says, hey, take these, don't lose them. Go to this world and hide. And if they come after you, throw another ring and get out of there.
In the games, the rings are kind of just the random little thing you collect. I don't think the fact that they're rings really means anything, right?
Well, they do have, like, at the end of the game, if you collect enough, there's the ring portal that takes you to the bonus stage rather than just running off screen.
Right, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so the kind of teleport thing, it's been a thing for a while. But, it's as back in the day, there's no, like, story outside of what you put together, really, right? So, that's just up for interpretation.
From the little bit I played the games, I never got the impression that they had a great grasp on what they were trying to do, plot, so background-wise. But you know what? I'll give this movie a little more credit than I had before. I forgot about ring portals.
There we go. And that's what this podcast is all about, man. We're gonna give you some information. We're gonna make you laugh. We're gonna make you cry. You're gonna feel a range of emotions, but you're also gonna learn something.
Look, if no one listens to this, at the end of the day, I learned something.
So we go through the portal. We then get a 10-year time jump. We see one of our other soon-to-be main characters, James Marsden. In this movie, his name's Tom Wachowski. Sonic calls him the Donut Lord because he is the man who speaks to donuts. I guess it's a cop. He maybe eats a bunch of donuts. I don't know.
I was worried that I was just gonna see Teddy the whole time from Westworld.
Yeah.
Marsden plays Teddy on Westworld.
And that's probably, we'll probably go ahead and say that's what we're going to call him the rest of the movie. Every time we refer to Tom Wachowski, we're gonna say Teddy.
Probably Teddy. He wasn't as Teddy as I wanted him to be.
Yeah, which is good for an actor. Bad for a Westworld fan.
He seems to be kind of the only competent sheriff in this tiny little town that Sonic has been creeping in the woods behind.
He's just a good guy, but he says pretty early on he just wants to save someone's life, He's
tired of doing all the little things. He wants that action movie ending.
Sonic, we see his little cave that he's living in. He's got a map that shows some of his other places he can go if he were to get found. One of them being the mushroom planet, which is, so it seems like they kind of do some digs at Mario, the Mushroom Kingdom.
At Mario, for sure. No one wants to go live in the Mushroom Kingdom.
We find out that Teddy applied for a job in San Francisco, California. Bigger city means more action. They're going to move him and his wife, Maddie, who is a vet. Obviously, as soon as you see that the wife of the main character is a vet, it's like, okay, well, something's going to happen to Sonic. We're going to have that moment where we take him there and fix him. Like, that was one of those things where as soon as it was mentioned, I'm like, all right, I get it. Shouts out the plot devices. But yeah, so Sonic is just kind of sad. He doesn't have any friends. He really wants a high five. We see him watching a baseball game kind of early on in these opening scenes. And once the park closes, he decides to play baseball. And he is, plays everyone on the team himself because he's fast. In case you didn't know that, it's a thing he's known for.
Yeah, he's a quick guy.
I think it's a little sad because he gets a home run and there's no one to give him a high five to celebrate. So he starts running really fast, causes a power outage that covers the entire Pacific Northwest, which our U.S. government, shouts out. They decide to do the only thing that they can do, and that is to call Dr. Robotnik.
You get Jim Carrey in the mix.
We need Jim. Where is he?
Get James on the line.
But yeah, we get Jim Carrey, and he's put on the case to find out what caused this power outage, and they find a blue quill sitting on the ground, which is Sonic's quill. There's a little bit of an energy there. Yeah. Jim Carrey does the classic dad battery test, the 9-volt where he puts it to his tongue and it shocks him. He goes, ooh, this is still good, It
works. Everyone in this movie is really weird, right? Like, yeah. Sonic's been in, like, social isolation for, like, 10 years, and the movie makes a real heavy point to show you that he's kind of lost his mind. They never really circle back to that, but it's a lot sadder than they want it to be.
Yeah, Sonic knows he's in trouble. We gotta get our bag of rings, grab whatever we can, and go on to the mushroom planet, despite how trash the planet looks.
He's done a pretty good job. I mean, we don't get like we don't get much in between the 10 years, but if the guy's had one major goof in 10 years of required.
It's not bad.
I think that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Man's on the run. You're gonna seek out a helpful guy like Teddy, when you're in trouble.
Which is what he does. He ends up going to Teddy's house, and he decides he goes up in the attic, and that's where he's going to use his ring to transport him. And so right before he does it, Teddy comes upstairs to see what the noise is and finds Sonic, picks up his wife's tranquilizer gun, shoots Sonic in the leg. As Sonic is passing out, confused as to what happened, he sees Teddy's shirt that says San Francisco. Says it out loud. Portal opens up and we see San Fran, and Sonic accidentally drops the rest of his rings in there, but himself not through the portal. We've now lost the rings, which is the one thing that Longclaw told him not to do, and Jim Carrey knocks on the door.
Do you think, if you try and envision, it'd be great to get the Fowler cut, of this movie where we can see the original version of Sonic as the director originally intended this production to have.
Right.
I'm just thinking, so in this movie, the one we're watching, Teddy effectively sees a cartoon character in his house.
Yeah.
But the abomination that he saw in the original
this
version,
weird monkey hedgehog boy.
I'd shoot it too. That thing's that's a monster.
It makes you wonder how much was changed. Was it just the animation, or was there any plot points that were changed because of the different way he looks?
About him being disgusting.
Yeah, we'll jump a little bit forward. We end up fighting Robotnik. We get Sonic out. We're trying to go into hiding. We decide. Basically, Sonic says the golden word. He says, "Hey, I need help. I'm good. He's coming after me. I'll die unless you help me." And that's all Teddy's wanted this whole time. And so he decides to help him. They go on a road trip, a little bro trip, if you will.
Natural hero. Gotta go. It is kind of Teddy's fault. Sonic makes sure to bring up throughout the movie more than once. Teddy shot him.
Yeah, don't forget you shot me, man. We end up at a bar, and we get the classic Flash or Quicksilver montage of him going faster than everybody else and doing wacky things to people. We get the chili dog thing, because obviously you can't have a Sonic movie without chili dogs. It'd be like a Deadpool movie without chimichangas. Who could do that?
Is that real? Is there any kind of... Am I missing something?
Yeah, Deadpool likes chimichangas.
No, Sonic. Is there...
Oh, yeah, Sonic's big thing is he likes chili dogs. It's like a thing.
Is that real?
Yeah.
It's true?
Yeah.
No.
Look it up. Type in Sonic chili dogs. Sonic...
It does ring the bell that there is a fast food chain called Sonic.
Yeah, maybe Sonic the Hedgehog chili dog. Again, you're going to learn something here. If it's not the audience, at least you. I'm glad that someone is getting the purpose of this podcast out there.
No sponsorship affiliation with Sonic. If this recording ever finds its way in the hands of Five Guys Burgers and Fries, it would not take much for an endorsement.
There is a scene in there. We were talking about the weird animation and people seeing was anything changed from the human-like abomination versus this video game character. There's a scene in the bar where Sonic has a cowboy hat and a poncho from somewhere, and the server walks up and goes, "Hey, no kids allowed in the bar." And he goes, "Oh, he's actually 40 years old." But do they not see his quills are hanging out? That obviously feels like something when this was more of it was a human realistic perspective than that, but who looks at a video game character?
Maybe he was more passable as a person. That joke.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeing Sonic,
he's a cartoon character.
There's bigger fish to fry here
in this universe.
Yeah, it should be. Hey, no kids allowed in this bar, but also whatever that is, get him out of here. We get a couple of other kind of rough throwaway lines. He says that I guess I had a bonus life, which wouldn't be that bad, despite him directly going into flossing, the Fortnite dance move.
The flossing thing hurts.
They overdo it for sure.
Yeah, this seems like maybe a moment to kind of just ask the question, Adam. What do you think of Sonic in this movie?
I know we have probably differing opinions. I like Ben Schwartz, and so I think that's why I kind of maybe have a little bit of a skewed opinion. I'm trying to look at it from not necessarily was his performance something I liked versus was it good for the movie. It wasn't necessarily something I was into, but it's a kid's movie. The movie made its money. I've seen online people talking about how much their kids enjoyed the movie and, like, praising Ben Schwartz for handling it as well as he did. And that's just a tough line. Like, was it for me? No. Did he do a good job on paper? Yes.
I don't know, man. I hated this Sonic.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything about Sonic, but I guess I just wasn't expecting it to be such a... He seems like a child. The character is a child,
yeah.
you know.
Which
he's fine. And I think you're right. It kind of fits the tone of the movie. Maybe just wasn't what I was expecting going into it.
I mean,
I think Ben Schwartz is fine. It just didn't feel like the little bit of lore I know of Sonic. It didn't feel like this character needed to be Sonic. It was just kind of like if you created this as a weird, different CGI abomination, you know, would it have really mattered to the plot of this at all?
Probably not. It's not necessarily the Sonic we know, but then also the Sonic we know didn't grow up on his own for 10 years, right? Like, Sonic has friends in the comics and in the games, right? So, like, you think about a kid that gets abandoned at 6 and has to grow up on his own in the woods, right? Sonic is literally living in a cave. You know, the fact that he has any social skills whatsoever, it's not really age-specific, right? Because I guess I would assume that he was, like, somewhere between 4 and 6 in that opening scene, so he's 14 or 16 in this.
Yeah, they don't...
But he definitely feels like a child. But then, I mean, sometimes he doesn't feel like a child. Like, some of his conversations, he seems more adult. And so I don't think we're supposed to think of his age, but... You know, if you really dive into it, I don't know. It's hard to say what you're looking for this character when it's a completely different version.
I keep saying he looks like a cartoon character. I guess I need to think of him more like that. He's up, he's down. He's, you know, you said Deadpool a minute ago.
Yeah,
he could be sort of Deadpoolish, or maybe that was a vibe they were going for here to some degree.
You have to also think there's that game that came out a few years ago, Sonic Generations, right? Where you have Sonic from, like, Sonic Adventure, who's kind of that more comic booky. He's a little bit more mature. He still makes his jokes, but, like, he's an older version of Sonic. And then you have the Sonic from the 90s games, where he's, like, shorter, you know, and looks like that. Right. And them talking, they talk to each other in the game, because it's two different Sonics, right? And so, even when they talk to him, that little one is kind of more childlike, you know? So, I don't know...
Maybe we'll get them all three together into the Sonic verse.
Yeah, kind of pull like a weird Godzilla where, like, all the Godzilla movies, there's different versions of Godzilla, and they have one movie where all the Godzillas get together and fight.
It's all canon.
We get a big fight with Robotnik finally. We get into this weird race where Dr. Robotnik chasing Teddy and Sonic in their truck. And we get the Russian stacking dolls. Every time they kill one robot, it gets a little bit smaller and smaller and smaller. It becomes a sticker grenade, and they can't get it off. And so they pull over, and it explodes, and Sonic is down for the count. Again, we know that Miss Donut Lord, the Pretzel Queen, is a vet. Luckily, she just so happens to be right outside of San Francisco with her sister.
How convenient.
Yeah, what are the odds? Apparently, he's just fine. She just gives him some smelling salts, and he's back up and going.
They never really explain why, but her sister kind of hates Teddy.
Yeah, it seems like maybe she has gone through a divorce and just kind of hates marriage and men in general. She's just like, you can't trust him, he's cheating on you. It's a weird subplot that they throw in there. It kind of seems like they're trying to add some, like, again, for like a kids movie, there has to be things every so often that the adults can laugh at, you know, that the kids don't really get necessarily.
I mean, this is a family film, so we're gonna make sure to give you some marital problems with your robot fights.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other, bud. We get Sonic's red shoes. You know, I expected something to happen where, like, maybe Teddy's wife isn't a vet. Maybe she's like a shoemaker or a scientist and has made these shoes that are like clothing that doesn't burn in fire, because it's just the traction is just going to destroy these red shoes anyway. You know, we're going to get never-ending supply of Nikes here, man.
This movie makes you take a lot of leaps of faith, you know, in terms of plot hole.
Yeah.
This young girl has shoes that fit this weird cross-dimensional hedgehog abomination. Whatever.
So now that we have the shoes, nothing's holding us back. Let's go to San Fran, dog.
Yeah, that's like Cap getting his shield, you know. Sonic's ready to go. We're ready.
We're ready for third act. We're ready to round this bad boy out.
there's a boss fight around the corner.
Yeah, so we get to the tower, the building that his rings are on the top of. We work our way up there. We get a sad goodbye. Teddy's like, hey, you're one of my friends. I'm going to be sad to see you go. That's all Sonic really wanted. We can go to the Mushroom Kingdom. Everything's fine. Sonic gets ready to throw the ring. Boom, Robotnik's there. Also, he heard that Sonic got a new pair of shoes. He's like, I'm not going to be outdone. Right? So he's got a new trademark Robotnik Eggman costume on. He's new shoe goofing himself. Sonic gets shot with a bunch of missiles, but he, obviously freezes time, I guess. Moves so fast that he can get out of the way. We find out that Sonic's quill can then now allow Dr. Robotnik to move at Sonic's speed. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's a little scary for him for a moment there.
Yeah. So we get this chase scene, right? Sonic starts throwing out rings left and right because he's got a whole bag of them, Rings just grow on trees, I guess, at this point. So we go to Egypt, we see the pyramids, we go to Paris.
They never really give you like a set of stakes in terms of like how many rings do they have? Like, do I need to be worried that Sonic's going to throw his last ring? And
I was constantly thinking, like, at what point is he going to look and be like, oh man, this is my last, that like,
right.
That, like, weird thing of like, this is my last bullet. I better save it. Hope this one doesn't miss.
Yeah. And are these rings just showing back up in the bag somehow? We don't get too many rules. Eggman doesn't even care about the rings, right?
He doesn't
like
care
Sonic's a battery, that's cool, but this is interdimensional.
You could go anywhere, and you can't.
Whole movie, Sonic's afraid of like, I've got to go to the Mushroom Kingdom to get away. Why? Just go anywhere.
Anywhere. Any of these other people have transdimensional like capabilities? Do the Echidna? Longclaw kind of says like people are going to come after you, but like, can they? Like once you disappear once, as long as you don't upset someone locally, you're fine. Obviously, anything's possible with the power of friendship. He goes, Robotnik asked Teddy, why are you helping him? He's a weird abomination. And Teddy's like,
look at him.
Teddy's like, he's my friend. Yeah,
this scene was way more emotional in the first cut of the movie, you have to imagine, because Teddy's just looking over like, fuck, I don't know, man.
He's just, I won't fail you, Dolores.
Did I pick the right side here? Look at that thing.
Actually, you're right, man. We should probably kill this thing. Let's put it out of its misery. With Sonic coming back with the power of friendship, he then does the old school Sonic roll up into a ball and just kind of throw himself at Robotnik's ship a bunch of times, which, like, I get it. It's what they do in the game. In real life, does that actually do anything? It kind of reminds me of, like, the Power Rangers TV show where, like, instead of actually, like, shooting these monsters with your guns, we're just going to kind of throw them. And it's just like, they're just falling down.
I don't know, that now you're making me think of in Next Generation, I guess in all of old Trek, those two-handed punches they're always doing across the back.
Well, that's a future. Have you ever been hit like that? No, because you're here doing a podcast. We have no idea the power behind that, man. So yeah, Sonic beats Eggman. Sonic gets his high five, which is really all we were really looking for this entire movie.
Subjects Eggman to the mushroom.
He does throw a ring, and yeah, now Eggman is going to be stuck in the Mushroom Kingdom. Jim Carrey's going to go hang out with Mario. Jim Carrey has a line, I think it's like right after it's like mid-credit scene, maybe.
Something like that. And scene before, yeah.
Yeah, he's clearly been there for a little bit. His clothes are all messed up. His hair is disheveled. His mustache is huge. We now have like video game characteristics happening.
The mustache is finally canon.
Yeah, life is imitating art. Everything is good. One of the best scenes in the movie, and he kind of doesn't look in the camera, but he might as well. And he was like, "This would take people a lifetime to get out of here, but for me, I'll be out of here by Christmas." Which, originally this movie was supposed to be released on Thanksgiving. It got pushed back till Valentine's Day. I don't know. It may have been kind of on the nose, but I would not be surprised if we hear, maybe not now with Big Virus 2020, but if the movie were to be slated for a Christmas release, I wouldn't be super surprised.
You're really entrenched in these Sonic the Hedgehog movie conspiracy. Teddy and the wife have thrown together. They got all Sonic's trash out of the cave and threw it up in the attics. He's a roommate now.
And then we get one more scene that may be the biggest scene in the movie. We get a Tails cameo. Tails jumps through a ring portal, kind of says something like, "Hey, I know that it's here. We've got to find him." Which, the internet's kind of assuming that he's looking for Sonic and they're looking for Chaos Emeralds. We see at the beginning of the movie when they look at his map when he's inside the cave. Apparently, one of the worlds has a Chaos Emerald drawn on it. It was like a little kind of Easter egg kind of thing, but may be a big plot point for Sonic 2 Electric Boogaloo.
What the fuck is a Chaos Emerald?
We'll put that in right now.
Yeah, put it in right now. Adam, what's a Chaos Emerald?
So yeah, if you don't know, it's like a big thing from the Sonic video games. I think it's been in there kind of since the earlier games. It's just like an extra collectible in the bonus world, but then later on, if he collects all the Chaos Emeralds, much like Thanos' glove and in the Infinity Stones, we then get a version of Super Sonic called, ironically, Super Sonic. Returns gold, he can fly faster than ever.
Yeah, I again coming into this movie with very little knowledge. I remembered those Chaos Emeralds from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Yeah, I mean that's how you beat the game. You get Super Sonic and Super Shadow, which is sick.
I'd love to pick your brain at some point about who would you have voice Shadow, for example.
Ooh,
there's all
Shadow.
These other characters. Yeah, there's all these other characters in Sonic.
Yeah. Classic Keanu Reeves as Shadow.
Reeves would be great as Shadow.
Yeah, that would probably be pretty good.
I got really excited when Tails came in.
Yeah.
I realized afterwards it's because they got her name is Colleen Villard, I believe.
Right.
It is the woman who voices Tails in the video games. And it just felt so much more fitting.
It felt real.
That character I knew a little bit better. Yeah.
Which is funny that you mentioned who would we have voice other people. There's rumors for a sequel, which, it's with a movie making 3 times its budget, there's obviously going to be sequels. James Marsden, Teddy, signed up for multiple sequels. There's rumors that Knuckles, the Echidna, will be in the next movie, most likely, if nothing else. Maybe Eggman runs into him, and that's how they kind of figure out how to get back, because he knows where Sonic is. There's rumors that John Cena or The Rock will be the voice of Knuckles.
No. Danny DeVito as Tails.
Sonic is an egg for your trying times. This is a perfect time. Witte, tell me how you felt about the movie.
Steaming hot garbage.
Yeah, usually movies like this, I can kind of shut my brain off and be like, that was a fun movie. It wasn't good if you're comparing it as a piece of classic cinema. But I honestly didn't even really have fun during this movie.
Going into it, it did not live up to anything for me.
And I
didn't expect it to be a work of art, but I didn't expect to hate it either, and I just didn't laugh. I didn't have a good time.
I saw the movie made money. I had heard people like the movie. I had seen positive things on Twitter and other social media. But yeah, I mean, not everything's for everybody, but I don't know if I would recommend any of our viewers that haven't seen the movie if I'd recommend watching it. I think you probably will get more laughs hopefully out of this episode of the podcast than you will the entire movie.
That's a bold reach, but don't give us too much credit.
Well, man, it's been fun. It was another episode in the bag. Any final thoughts? Anything to add?
I don't know, man. I hated that. I hated that. Cool. Good word, my dude.
See you, dog.
Way to save the podcast.
Save the world, man.
The next step in our evolution. Not powerful, not beautiful. I think I should call him Adam.
Nothing but wit to save the world. Save the world.
Adam.
Wit saves the world.
Assemble.